Okay, then.
If you, like I told them, if you look around at this water, you don't want this on you.
Yeah.
Misfiring. See the bump right there on her snout?
Yeah.
She's got two on the other side, guys. When she was younger, she'd been down on something very hard, pushed her teeth up.
Ooh.
Now she actually has a jaw pressure to be able to crack a hard shell, turn them in half, digest, shut it off, right? Now when we're down into the 50s, these guys got to get up in the sun, right? The bumps that are on her back are called osteoderms, they're bony plates with a bunch of blood vessels in them. She needs her body temperature to get up about 86%. aren't you glad you didn't sit in the front row?
Oh,
Yes.
Now, as you guys look around, maybe an inch of water, the rest is mud, all right? You jump off this boat, you're going up to your hips in it, all right? So do not jump off the boat. See, aren't you glad you guys didn't sit up there? Now, where's everybody from, guys?
Pennsylvania.
Germany, Pennsylvania, Canada, Louisiana.
And Cape Coral. We live in Cape Coral.
You guys live in Cape Coral? So you guys got those iguanas up there?
Oh, yeah.
Tegu monitor lizards, right?
Yes.
Who read the sign before we ran it over? Anybody?
U.S. border.
Yeah,
U.S.
that's
boundary.
it.
Now, there was 3 letters underneath, guys, at NPS, National Park Service. We're running airboats in the Everglades National Park, guys. We're just on our own private property. Now, that being said, in the national park, all plants and animals are protected, except for one, and that's the Burmese pythons.
Yep.
All right?
Right.
Pythons showed up out here, guys, in 1992 with Hurricane Andrew. Hurricane Andrew hit Miami and Homestead, hit a serpentarium and multiple pet stores, and released about 900 snakes. Now, to this day, they estimate between 150,000 to 300,000. They truly don't know how many's here. The biggest snake they've caught this year is 17 feet 10 inches, or a little under 6 meters. Weighed 170 pounds. Also, she had 73 eggs inside of her.
Oof.
Now, to show you what they can physically eat, 3 years ago, they caught a 16-foot 4-inch one, which is about 5.5 meters, guys, that had a 76-pound white-tailed deer inside of it. A deer. They're eating small field mice, raccoons, medium-sized alligators, all the way up to our deer and wild boar. Now, the sad thing is, they can breed twice a year with up to 90 eggs per clutch. So 180 babies off of one female a year. So that's how they're actually taking over our ecosystem. Now, they did a small mammal count about 2 years ago in the Everglades National Park, and they estimate between 96 and 98% is gone. So, sad part is once they actually run out of food source here, they're going to migrate north. Central Florida, North Florida, South Georgia, Alabama, any place that truly does not have a hard freeze. Cape Coral, don't worry about it. They'll be there soon enough. Now, I thought we were safe being in brackish water, and that's what this water is, guys. It's about 70% fresh, 30% salt. Well, about 3 mornings ago, we actually seen a nice big 8-footer swimming in one of these trails.
Jeez.
They're adapting to our ecosystem, guys. They are going to definitely move around to different areas.
Didn't they just launch a to start killing them this month?
Well, they're going to start a python bowl.
Yeah.
But there are 165 people that do nothing but hunt these snakes. That's their job.
Yeah.
They
Oh
get
my
paid
word.
minimum wage times 40 hours a week, whether they catch a snake or not. Then it's a bounty system per snake. 4 feet and under, they get 125 bucks. Each additional foot after that is 25. They come across a snake that has eggs inside or coiled around eggs, it's 200 bucks. So a big snake with eggs is a pretty good payday.
Right.
The real crappy part is, guys, you got to come out here at night. They are nocturnal and do hunt at night.
Oh.
So these guys do get out of their boats and their trucks, and they walk along the water's edge at night with a spotlight.
Wow.
They catch a reflection off the skin, and they reach down and grab a hold of these guys live. Now, the reason they're catching these snakes live is they sell every part of the snake. They sell the hide. They sell a lot of the meat to our local crabbers. They actually use it as crab bait instead of pig's feet. It actually seems to last pretty long. Then they sell the internal organs to a lot of Oriental countries. They use gallbladders, stuff like that for medicine. You still think it's enough money?
No.
No way. No way.
Eat a person.
What's that?
So it could eat a person. Shoot.
Of course. Now, they have between 4 and 5 guys per group, because if a 17-foot grab the holds of it, you're going to be done, guys.
Right.
It's going to put you out and you're going to get eaten. Now, they tell these guys to actually carry rubbing alcohol or vodka in a squirt bottle. If they do bite, just spray it on their head and they'll actually release it. Messes with the olfactory senses and they'll actually let go pretty quickly. That's the vodka in case you really need it. Now, have you guys ever been out in this area at all? I mean, I know you guys have different types of swamps, all right?
Yeah.
Now, just imagine 50 years ago, guys, this was all grass. The group of trees we have right here, these are called red mangrove. They are federally protected trees, guys. It's a $5,000 fine and up to 6 months in jail for cutting one tree, all right? Now, the reason they're so protected is when we have a hurricane or tropical storm, they decrease wind from one side to the next by 30%. Big numbers when you have a 150-mile-an-hour storm.
Right.
The sad part is we're out in the middle, 5 miles from the coast. They're everywhere. Over the next 10 to 15 years, they estimate most of these grasslands are going to be gone because of those trees. When that happens, wading and nesting birds are going to disappear, and so will our alligators. As you see, different areas that are grassy, water drops completely out. They're going to be elevated areas for these alligators to get up in the sun, okay? If those disappear, so will the alligators. Nesting birds prefer to have 360-degree views, so that way they can see anything around them. We have a lot of predators down here, guys. Different, right? Now, as you look around, palm trees that you see, these are the only native palm trees to Florida. These are called sable palms or cabbage palms. All the other ones are grown by seed or imported. The reason people don't plant these is we get a lot of pests in them. We get fire ants that make a nest. We get palm rats that'll jump tree to tree, and then we have a 4-inch flying cockroach we call a palmetto bug. They tend to make a nest in them, and most people don't want them in their yards.
Yeah, no.
Now, green healthy ones signify dry land. You see a couple of them that are missing heads over there. What happens is when they grow in the water too long, they rot from the inside out. The heads fall off, they become completely hollow. Also, we have a very large woodpecker population and kingfisher down here, guys. They'll make nests on the inside. Pretty cool, isn't it?
There's a lot of wildlife down here.
Most things in Florida can hurt you. Panthers, black bears, bobcat, coyote, fox, snakes, alligators, crocodiles. We do have native crocodiles in Florida, guys. Population is very small, about 2,200 in the state. They are saltwater and they do get 18 to 20 feet, guys. All right. Being in this brackish mix, this is the only place in the world that we have alligators and crocodiles that coexist. All right. Any questions, guys? You ready to cruise?
Yeah.
See what we can find?
You both go over the grass, right?
I can go over it. If I hit a sandy patch, you gonna push? No.
Then I sink to the way.
Well, we do have a little hook on the front. If we do get stuck, they actually do come out and pick you guys up. But as they're snatching that boat off, all that wind in the back actually gets blown on me, so I try not to get stuck. Smaller female, all right. You look at her head, it's pretty narrow, petite, as you can say an alligator's petite. Males will be pretty wide and girthy. Now males are the ones that get the largest, up to 15 feet or 5 meters. Now she is quick in the water if she wants to be. She can swim up to 20 miles an hour for an unlimited distance. On land between 11 and 18, straight line distance for about 50 feet. All right. Now I also notice she's very dark. Mangroves release something called tannins or tannic acid in the water. Now that actually stains our fish's skin and it also stains our alligators black. They actually used to use that to actually stain alligator hides and leather. I'm gonna bump up just a little bit. Now you guys in Louisiana have about twice as many alligators as we do. Your crazy guys can actually get out there and swim with them, feed them, all kinds of crap.
They jump too.
Yeah, we can't touch them.
No, but they jump.
Yeah, there's enough mud on the bottom, and we're not in deep enough water for them to get in here, guys. They tried to propel off the bottom, they just sink like we would. If I tried to get you out of the mud, You wouldn't be very happy.
Do crocodiles jump too?
Yes, ma'am.
They do?
Yep.
I do alligators, did I learn?
Oh yeah. But now, Swamp People's based in Louisiana. Most of that's commercial. Alligator hunting down here in the state of Florida, we don't have any commercial. Most of that comes from farms. Everything that we have a hunting season comes from tags. If you're lucky enough, you get 2 tags. Down here, we actually catch them on a rod and reel. You can spend high dollar money to shoot one with a rifle, but it's shooting fish in a barrel. It's about $7,000 for a hunt.
Oof.
Now, you can keep the hide and the meat or sell either one, depending on what you want to do. Alligator about this size definitely is about the best eating. You don't want those big monsters unless you're a trophy hunter, right? Now, these are our big boat trails, as you can tell the difference. Now, 1 year of not running in these trails, these will actually walk in and enclose. But also, this gives you an idea on the total amount of rainfall that we get in the summer months, guys. June, July to October, we get about 70 inches, and the rest of the 10 actually falls from October to May, all right? Generally, these exposed roots are almost halfway covered still. This year, we're about 18 inches to 2 feet down from where we were last year. So, you know what that means? We're probably gonna have a pretty rough brush fire season this year. All right? Now, as we're cruising around, you're gonna see a lot of different plants growing in the trees. Bromeliads, air plants, lots of little different orchids. I'll get in here and show you guys a couple of them in this little trail right here. Almost look like pineapple tops growing on there. Now, air plants are a type of orchid that grow on top of the tree without doing any damage to the tree. Now, 3 years ago, we had a big Zika scare in Miami. Downtown Miami removed all those plants. They become a breeding ground for freshwater mosquitoes. Now, sometimes in Florida, it's hard to tell what season it is. Spring and fall, they get beautiful red flowers, all right? Kind of crazy. I don't even see any of the seed pods floating in the water today. Now, the seed pods for the red mangroves are between 8 and 12 inches long. They resemble a giant green bean with a brown end, okay? Once they drop off the tree, they float sideways for a while until they get a little bit of bulk in the brown end, which the roots come out of, and it'll turn and sink to the bottom. That's how they take over areas very quickly. Now, this next section we're getting ready to hit is going to be a big open section and then a big long straightaway. You're going to see a lot of grasslands on both sides where those baby mangroves are starting to take over, okay? You guys ready to ride?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. heron's great white egrets. The other little gray bird that flew off to the side, that was a tricolor heron, all right? That's one of our smallest ones. He's pretty large.
What size, like little, when you say alligator?
Baby alligators hatch out 5 to 7 inches. They can eat them all the way up to about 12 inches. Slurp them down like a piece of spaghetti. Survival rate of baby alligators is about 6 to 8% in Florida, guys. Survival rate of the pythons between 96 and 98%. Nothing wants to eat a 3-foot snake. Now, we're gonna cruise around some of these areas and see if we have any alligators laying up on this grassy areas. If not, we're gonna see if some babies are hanging out too. You guys should be able to see her right directly to your left here in a second. How about that? Better? Now, this one's definitely another female, guys. As you look down this trail, nice big palm trees back there. It's going to signify dry land, all right? One way in, one way out. Easy for predators to actually keep out. So definitely will be nests back there, all right? And you can tell she's really concerned. We don't bother them in the slightest, guys. By starting a day after Christmas, like I said, 11 to 1,200 people per day, they get accustomed to the noise. The biggest thing we spook up is the birds. They'll flock up and then come back down. Starting in February, when the northern United States is very cold. Yep, most of your migratory birds do come here. Every corner you go around, there is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of birds. Yeah.
I can't believe they're going to let the grassland part just all take over the mangroves without at some point.
Well, there's a couple things in legislation right now that if they're more than 3 nautical miles away from the coast, they're not serving their purpose. But they're really concerned with hurricane protection right now. After Hurricane Michael last year, they're really, really scared. They didn't have any mangroves up there. Thing is they had all hardwoods on the other side of the beach, and when it went from a Category 3 to a Category 5 in the blink of an eye. We had Irma 2 years ago. Because of the mangroves, it actually came in as a 4 and dropped down to a 2. So that's what they're really concerned with. They don't want to wipe out a lot of these islands, Sanibel, Captiva, Marco Island, develop it, and the next hurricane bite us in the butt. So hopefully they'll pass the legislation. And the thing is, we don't want to do anything with these mangroves. It's the little ones growing in the grasses that are going to kill the grasses eventually. Yeah. And that's what we're concerned with. There could be a fine line very easy.
Do they, I mean, how hard is it to pull them out?
One of those that size, you wouldn't be able to pull it out unless you had a snatch strap and a tow truck. We couldn't.
Well, I figure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
The little dinky guys, you can reach up and pluck them right out.
But do they grow by?
What they do is they actually send down a taproot, and these little guys actually send out taproots, and then they send the spider web of roots across the top, so they actually prevent the erosion, but they also grow islands. So any sediment we wash up there collects, and it actually just grows and gets bigger and bigger. So yeah, they're definitely in there for a while. Now we can get a certified mangrove trimmer out here that you can pay for, $250 an hour. Now any place that they hang over these tubers on the bottom, they can trim. If it's actually inside that, they can't touch it. But when they trim, they cut and drop it, and we can't leave any of that debris in the water.
Right.
Whoever started out with that job and that certification was pretty smart. Okay. Now I'm gonna creep around here and see if there's any little ones over here, and then we'll hit some more grassy areas. When I say little, they're about 9 inches, guys, and you're gonna notice if they're over there, they have actually orange stripes on their tails. Helps them blend in a little bit. By the time they're about 18 inches or 2 feet, they will lose those stripes. This just gives you an idea. 1, 2, 3 of them. This is the best thing about the grasses, guys. They got to be out in the sun. And he kind of blends in pretty good with it too. The no brakes part on the airboat's kind of tough. You just kind of have to drift a little.
There's so many kayak tours around here. What do the people do when you come across an alligator in a kayak?
Alligators, wild alligators, are going to be more scared of you than you are of them. You actually approach one, it's going to turn around and go the other way. Seriously. And that's what the biggest problem is. We have a lot of people from all over the world, all over the United States. What happens is when they come down here, guys, they throw scraps in the water, they feed alligators, and it actually ruins them. Our resource officers. So yes, feeding alligators are bad, just like any other wildlife. And these guys are wild. I guarantee you, you jump off this boat and go towards an alligator, he's gone. Test it out, sir. You're a Louisiana guy, you've done this. I've swam in canals with alligators, guys. And the thing is we're too big to eat. They eat 10 to 15 pounds a week in the summer, 10 to 15 pounds a month in the winter.
I caught one crab.
Accidental?
Yeah, it was with a chicken neck.
Yeah. Chicken necks,
We
yeah.
were by a dam and it got it.
Did you just let them have it?
No, I wasn't gonna lose my good weight on the end of it. I pulled them in. Made them let go finally.
Oh, they do let go, guys.
Yeah.
And the thing is we're not out to hurt them.
No.
Population's increased dramatically over the years, guys, and that's the best part of it.
Well, they have control constantly.
Yep. 11,000 tags is what they issue in Florida. That's it. All right. It does keep the population in check, but also it doesn't get rid of these old ancient ones. Some of the ones out here, guys, we're gonna go see one. He's behind our shop. His name's CJ. He's about 60 years old. The reason he actually has a name, his jaw is offset, top to bottom. Name's Crooked Jaw. So he is missing a leg and part of his eye, but they don't get that big by being stupid. We're gonna make our way through some small trails. You guys ready? No, we're not stuck.
So where does pythons stay like during the day?
They're actually on dry land upside down.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Now, they are not a water-based snake, but some of the snakes that got released from the serpentarium were anacondas, which are true water snakes. Now, Seminole and Miccosukee Indians have caught several of them, upwards of 20, 22 feet, all right, and they've been found in the water. A lot more water stays in the canals, more towards the east, towards Miami, than over here.
Okay.
Now, everybody should feel pretty lost.
Yep.
You actually stand up and look straight ahead, you'll actually see the giant American flag just over the trees. Now, we don't use that for navigation, we use that for wind direction.
Yeah.
Wind gets upwards of about 45 miles an hour, guys, we do truly shut down, all right? It will blow the back of the boats out.
Oh.
So what do you mean by blow the back of the boat?
The boat actually has a bunch of holes in the cage.
Okay.
Even with those holes, when the wind gets very strong, it'll actually push the boat around, even with people on them. They're very, very susceptible to wind.
Okay.
And as we get out into the grass section, the very last section out here, guys, you'll actually see as we play around a little more. Any questions, guys? Now, the big grassy section right in front of us is what it all used to look like prior to the mangroves. Now, when they talk about brush fires in the Everglades, that's what's actually on fire, grasslands. Even though there's about 1 to 2 inches of water over there, it'll burn directly right over top of it. And they're really afraid during the winter months that we're going to have a freak lightning storm, so they do something called prescribed burns. They used to call them controlled burns about 2 years ago, till they got out of control so much they changed the name. And that's the thing. Down here in South Florida, the wind swirls every single day. You'll have wind out of the north, east, southwest. They do not put any firefighters out here. All suppression is done by aerial, helicopter or airplane. So that way nobody's at risk. They can't bring a track or a truck out here because it will sink to the bottom.
Right.
Okay? All right, we're gonna hit the grass section, guys. You ready?
Yep.
A little bit more swinging, a little bit more playing. Everybody still okay?
Yep.
Now everybody seems to think the white PVC pipes are for slalom course over here to the left and to the right rear. That's actually, we put them out about 6 weeks ago, guys. We're not going to let anybody go on the opposite side of it. Starting in about 3 weeks is our nesting season for our wading birds. All right,
Gotcha.
black neck stilts, gray blue herons, great white egrets. As these boats come into areas, they push a ton of water. All right,
Right.
we do not want to flood out their nests. All right, so it is very important that we keep people away from it. Now, as you look around, baby mangroves to the right rear, baby mangroves to the left. So it's definitely changing out here. Eventually, this will all be gone unless they change the legislation. Now, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to keep you guys a few minutes extra. You guys good with that?
Yeah.
All right.
I have a question. Actually, I have two questions.
Yes, ma'am.
One, how did the mangroves start here?
Saltwater intrusion. We all used to get water down in South Florida from Lake Okeechobee. It would flow south to the Everglades through the river of grass. It no longer does that. It actually diverted out of the east and west coast, right where he lives, Caloosahatchee River. Now, the thing is, guys, all that nutrient-rich water that they're pumping out feeds our naturally occurring red tide and it explodes, all right? But as that water went through the river of grass this way, it actually filtered it out. By the time it hit the Gulf of Mexico and Florida Bay, it was completely clean and filtered, all right? The reason they actually started diverting water was they tried to develop the Everglades in the 1930s and 40s. Well, they failed miserably. They put in Melaleuca trees. They actually brought in Australian pines, pepperhedge, anything that draws water. They put in roadways, dug canals. Well, guess what? They dug up the roadways, pushed in the canals, and now they're actually going to start sending our water south over the next 2 years. Which this gentleman's going to love. He's not going to have blue-green algae in his house anymore. Cypress and pine, all right? Yes. We've had black bears over there. We have quite a few deer that's been staying over there. Now, most mammals will go from one hammock to the next, but you see several of them out there. So they do migrate around in there. All right? Kind of cool, isn't it? We have terrible jobs.
Yeah, it's dreadful.
Look, you wouldn't believe. I wore a shirt and a tie for 20 years, guys. Seriously. Now, public supermarkets, I manage most of every single store inside of the animal sanctuary. All right? Now, this is my retirement. I'll warn you guys, we do have lions and tigers. We know that's not part of our ecosystem, right? I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago. I think it was almost 6 or 7. He had a gentleman in actually Zanesville, Ohio, release a bunch of big cats into his neighborhood. The police shot 46 or 48 of these cats. Because these guys didn't have regulations in Ohio, those crazy people. Now, the thing is now these big cats went to a big, large safari. They wouldn't feed. They've been hand-fed their whole lives. They would not survive. So we took them in before they got euthanized, all right? The female Siberian tiger, if she backs up to the enclosure and lifts her tail, she is going to pee on you, so step away very quickly, okay? Now, the male Siberian tiger has actually been neutered, okay? To get the white color, okay? They inbreed these species so much that they end up getting... Down syndrome. Down syndrome in Siberian tigers is very common, guys, and that's by inbreeding to get the white colors. So that's why we neutered them, so that way you couldn't pass along any of those offspring, okay? Now our lion, our African lion, if we were to neuter him, he'd actually lose his mane. So guess what? He still got his manhood. So, but like I said, we're gonna run through some cattails. There's been a couple big alligators back there, so we're gonna go check them out, all right? Here we go. You guys didn't think you were going to get this much information, did you?
No.
That's the best part about my job, guys. You have no idea. enclosure you're gonna come to is the Siberian tigers, and the next ones are the African lions. That big long one that we just went by, that's where Rico the Florida Panther is, guys. About a month ago, he had an ingrown dew claw. We actually had to call the vet. They actually had to knock him out and cut his claw. We were really afraid with his age that he wasn't going to be able to survive being knocked out, but he's doing pretty good. We got an alligator up to the front left in that little house. Not the monster that was here earlier. Got a big one right here to the right, guys. And you got the little one to the left.
There's one in the mangroves.
We're doing what you guys want to do. Get that suntan, enjoy the sun.
Not with my skin.
No, but you're, come on. It's not too bad. As you notice, they don't care. But if we get closer, he's starting to move. Now, the little bird is a tricolor heron. They don't mess with the birds because it takes a lot of energy to catch birds, guys. Our alligators are lazy. They figure, why not? I'll have some tourist that's going to throw something in there to take a picture of me. Now, he's a good 11 foot.
Now you say that after like Christmas time you get like all the birds down here. Is that, you think that, I mean, we're here now on vacation, but is it worth, like if you're down here again, like is it more beautiful all the birds, or is it more annoying?
It's amazing. Seriously, it is truly amazing. Because if you really think about it, you go around a corner, you have roseate spoonbills, wood storks, white ibis, great blue herons. I'm going to bump forward. And the thing is, we don't do a whole lot to attract the birds. They're just here to nest and get out of the cold.
Right.
But it is pretty amazing seeing all the plumage flying by.
I bet.
So yes, another vacation or coming back or scheduling for a little later. The only bad thing is about that time in December, it's crazy down here in South Florida.
Well, that's why I was thinking like maybe beginning of January.
It's actually pretty amazing too. And hopefully this year we're a little cooler and not as hot as we were last year, guys. The benefit of that is they'll actually catch more snakes this year than they had caught last year.
Oh, good.
So, but good question. Yes, it is amazing seeing the birds fly up. And when I say 20, 30, 40, 50, we'll end up in one of the areas in the back and you'll see nothing but a flock of 50 or 60 white pelicans at any given time. So they do migrate here from the northwest, guys. Any questions I can answer? Oops, that was loud. That was a cell phone.
Well,
Happens all the time.
I'm engrossed here.
So now, once we get to the dock, you guys with the buggy ride, actually check in with the ticket booth, let them know that you're in. Anybody else, the gator show's at the top of every hour. At the end of the gator show, you do get to hold little alligators. When I say little, 2, 3, and 4 footers, all right? Pretty neat. But thank you guys very much. I hope you guys have a terrific vacation. And you guys in Cape Coral, hopefully you get some clean water soon. All right, here we go.